Are you ready to play Biome? Let's get it set up. So, to begin, it is recommended to place the center board with the standard side face up. Next, make sure you have a year token on year 1 of the year track, your moon season token on the fall space of the season track, and a phase token on the draw card space of your phase track here. Next, all players receive a player board and choose a color and take the corresponding action cubes and get one of each resource, which are placed on the side of the player board. Players then place their point tokens on the start here space of the point track. The starting player token goes to the player with the most houseplants. They may take the first action during the action phase. Choose whether or not you'd like to play with the optional Natural Disasters expansion. Next, you will need to separate the starting bird cards from the starting tree cards. Each player then takes a random bird card and is given the matching tree card, which you can tell by the number in the bottom right corner. Starting cards can then be placed anywhere neighboring one another in the habitat that they fit in. The way to know where the cards belong is that the border color should match the habitat. So for jungle, it'll be green, and the symbol in the top left corner will match. So we have diamond for jungle, hexagon for prairie, and circle for marsh. Next, all players draw 3 cards from the main deck. Next, players will randomly draw 3 achievement cards for their game, which have the teal border. If for your first game you draw an advanced achievement, it is recommended that you return it to the pile and draw a new card. Once setup is complete, with all players having their point tokens on the point track, achievements being selected, the main deck of cards set up within reach for all players, player cubes placed on the player boards, 1 of each resource, starting cards played into the biome, and with each player having 3 cards in hand, the game is ready to begin. Biome is played through the seasons, with each season being a round of the game and each season containing multiple phases. The first 4 phases are played simultaneously. So at the beginning of each season, players are reduced to 8 cards in hand, draw 2 cards from the deck, collect any 2 resources of their choice, and then each player may play 1 card from their hand by paying the associated resource cost. So if I want to play this pygmy rabbit into any available space in my prairie, I must pay 2 leaves, and are identifiable in the top left corner here. As soon as a player has played a card, note the number of points the card is worth and move your token that many points forward on the point track. As players move forward on the point track, they may land on or pass instant bonus spaces. This space gives the player a free sunlight resource. Then there is the draw a card from the deck bonus, and the play a card from your hand for 1 fewer resource bonus. These are carried out immediately. Once all players have completed the play a card step, the phase token moves to the seasonal event. However, in fall and winter, when playing the standard game, there is no seasonal event, so players continue to the action phase. In this phase, all players will look at the cards that they have played into their biome and choose 1 action to activate. For example, if I want to activate the pygmy rabbit, I will get 4 leaves and draw a card. All other players may get 1 leaf. Once the action is complete, it is very important to place an action marker on that card to show it has been activated. This action may never be taken again by that player. Continuing clockwise, all players complete their action. Once that is complete, the starting player is rotated, so pass the fox token clockwise, and reset the phase token back to the top, and move the season token down to the next season. Players then reduce cards in hand to the hand limit of 8 cards. At any time, 2 of a resource or card may be exchanged for 1 of something else. So you can discard 2 cards to trade them for a fish. or discard 2 leaves and trade them for a fruit or another card. Once all players have reduced to 8 cards, players continue by drawing 2 more cards, then collecting any 2 resources of their choice, and again playing 1 card from their hand by paying the resource cost. Once players complete the action phase of winter, the cycle continues with the phase token going back up and the phase token going to spring. Players reach the seasonal event in spring, players have reached the nesting phase. Birds that are played orthogonally adjacent to any plant with the bird nest symbol on it will make a nest and have chicks. Rabbits that are neighboring any plant will also burrow and have baby animals. The number of baby animals is on the right side of the bird and rabbit card. So this rabbit will burrow and have 6 baby rabbits in that flower. This scarlet macaw will have 4 chicks, and the orange-headed thrush will have 3. This is completed simultaneously, and as soon as all players have completed the nesting, play continues to the action phase. The seasonal event of summer begins with predation phase. The player in last place on the point track gets to activate their predators first. All of the player's predators are activated one at a time. If an opponent has this weasel and it is their turn to complete a predation roll and attempt to hunt baby animals, they will choose an opponent's nest that is also in the prairie, because this is a prairie predator. If the player chooses to attack this nest, they will need to roll a 3 or higher to hunt 2 of the baby animals in this nest. That is because there are 2 plants in this prairie habitat. So you must roll a number higher than the number of plants to be successful. So if the player with the weasel rolls a 1, that is not successful, and the plants have protected the baby animals. Instead, the player with the predator will draw 3 cards. Had they rolled a 3 or higher, they would have had a successful hunt and get to eat 2 of the babies. So 2 of the babies are removed from the nest and placed back in the supply. And the player with the predator moves forward 4 points on the point track, 2 points per baby animal eaten. Once all predators have activated, we now move to the feeding phase. This is completed simultaneously. Players can choose how many of their baby animals they want to feed. Each baby would like 1 food that the parent animal eats. So the baby rabbits would like to eat leaves, the orange-headed thrush babies eat fruit or insects, as do the scarlet macaw babies. So you can choose how many babies you'd like to feed, and there is no penalty for babies that are not fed. If I choose to use my 4 leaf resources to feed these 4 rabbits, the resources are returned to the supply, and the nests with the rabbits are placed off to the side, as they are happily fed and earn you 2 points per baby animal, or 8 points for those fed babies. Once all players have completed the feeding phase, any remaining nests are moved off to the side. Don't worry, in the following year, birds and rabbits will have nests and more babies. Once that is complete, players continue to the action phase. Once all players have taken an action, players have completed the first year of the game. The year token moves to year 2, the season token goes back to fall, and the phase token goes back to the top of the phase track. Don't forget about the very important achievements. So, as soon as a player completes 1 achievement, they will place 1 of their player cubes on the achievement card. It is possible that if 2 players play a card which completes the achievement during the same simultaneous phase, both players will share the tie, and each will get 10 points. During a later phase, if a 3rd player completes that achievement, they will get 4 points and land on the 3rd place space. The players continue playing through the seasons and through the phases until a player has reached either 120 points on the point track, or a player has filled up their biome with 18 plants and animals. If either of these endgame conditions are met, players play that final season through, and each player takes a final action. The player with the most points at the end of the game wins. If neither of those 2 conditions are met, then the game ends once players have played 3 years in total. And again, the player with the most points wins. What do you think? Are you ready to start playing and build the most biodiverse biome?